As investigations into Steinhoff's corrupt accounting practices continue, the Public Investment Corporation has written off the embattled retailer's debt. Motheo Khoaripe joins me now for a closer look at the Steinhoff story and the damage the company has had on pension holders and shareholders. So, Motheo, how much of this debt is the PIC actually writing off?
Well, it's about 4.3 billion rand of that particular debt that is going to be writing off. It's not quite clear whether the write-off includes Steinhoff not paying back any money from that. But from what it seems, it's a loss-making venture that it went into through Lancaster, which was a BE vehicle that the PIC went through for Steinhoff ownership. It's been hit, of course, by the corruption scandal that came out in December last year, almost a year now, and so much share value that Steinhoff has lost over the period. Of course, the GEPF also holding some shares from Steinhoff, and pension holders lost a lot of money from that. So that write-off coming as a shock as well, but also quite expected because of such a loss that Steinhoff has gone through.
So what other debts are actually being written off now?
Well, there's a lot of actually other debts that are also being written off in this particular scenario. There's also the debt from VBS Mutual Bank that the business has to write off, and also independent media as well, who hasn't stayed up with the contractual agreements that it had with Steinhoff in terms of their own loans. So that is also being written off. So a lot of bad investments that the PIC unfortunately has made among the good ones that they've had. But this write-off actually speaking to how bad the Steinhoff issue actually is, and why we haven't had any arrests made at this time, where a lot of people have lost money, including pension holders as well.
Yeah, these bad decisions, of course, have a negative impact on our pension holders in particular. How far are the Steinhoff investigations, and when can we actually expect arrests, do you think?
Well, we still wait. I mean, it's almost the end of the year now, and we were promised by PwC that they would have wrapped up their own investigation. Of course, they were contracted by Steinhoff to find out what really happened at the company. The Independent Regulatory Board for Auditors saying it's waiting for that PwC report to release its own reports, and this was, of course, 96 days ago. So we still wait for that as well. We know that the Hawks has also called on Interpol to try and help them out with some of the international investigations that have got to do with the inflating of prices by Steinhoff executives as well. And we still wait, for most of the reports that have been put into place for some of the corruption that happened at Steinhoff, and yet no arrests have been made. A lot has been lost, and I think it's about damage of about 300 billion in terms of this corruption scandal, but yet no one is behind bars as yet.
I wait for the day when you tell me that there's good news coming out of Steinhoff.
I can't wait.
All right.